5, 4, 3, 2.
All right, so it's Tuesday, April 9th, almost noon. Recording the first of hopefully many podcasts on a different variety of topics. This one in particular today is going to be about the Final Four weekend and the championship game last night.
Texas Tech versus Virginia.
We'll get into that game eventually, but really it's a very surprising game.
I wasn't expecting anything from that game, but I gotta say, like that was a completely different experience. I think everyone was shocked that night.
I believe so too. Because it's like I said, we'll get to those points there in a little bit. But I mean, speaking of that, I mean, basically going into this whole Final Four weekend, nobody wanted any of the four teams that were there. There was no marquee. There was no marquee names. There's no marquee coaches. You know, with me being a biased Duke fan, but I had the Zion craze and everything like that. We got knocked out of Michigan State in a fucking really tight, close game. But I mean, it was everywhere. Sports didn't want it. Just everybody thought ratings would be low and down and everything, and it kind of made sense. But also too, it's like we gotta give some of these other teams a chance. I mean, they made it there.
Yeah,
they played,
exactly.
They won, they made it there.
They wouldn't have gotten there if they didn't know what they were doing. The biggest problem was that no one was anticipating a fast-paced, aggressive game. It's strong defense meeting strong defense, which is like shield bashing each other like the whole way through. At least that's what people expected.
Exactly, which leads into the first game, which was Auburn and Virginia. Which two different opposing styles. Auburn was a fast-paced run, fast break team, and then on the other hand, Virginia slow, methodical defense, and that's how they played. And while I was watching it and recording my notes and everything like that, I mean, the game was really boring. At an aspect, I mean, it was a very close game. Even like the people in the stands looked like a mural of a painting of what a basketball game should have been. Like there was no movement of the people. There was nothing. No, it was getting exciting.
Stagnant.
It was just very stagnant. And the only time people got into the game was right before halftime, and then right before which was surprising with this game being how boring it was. Like the final moments was intensifying, like butthole clenching, like oh god, what is going to happen, and was very strange because that's like I think everybody else in the stands too, like they were asleep until like the last couple minutes of the game. But with that last bit of it, with excitement change and everything like that, there was a bad non-call with the double dribble for Virginia, which could have turned everything around. But the big controversial play that everybody has been talking about, because I don't relate to the game with this Tuesday podcast, but what everybody was talking about was that a foul? Was that not a foul on that 3-point shot? In my opinion, I mean it was a foul. I mean you can't
travel.
No, it wasn't travel. You can't let a shooter not be able to land somewhere. And the defender from Auburn just closed in and just couldn't let him land anywhere. I mean, they're going to call that foul every time. It was, I mean, heartbreaker of a game, to lose, like, you think you have everything. Because there was, like, after that, especially the next day, Barstool and Facebook, all these things had Auburn fans running out of the bars to go celebrate into the streets of Auburn University. They should have waited because foul. 3-point play, well not 3-point play, but now he's got 3 free throws to get the lead. And I give it to the guy. Actually his last name's Guy, so that's where So I give it to the guy. He made all 3 of them with like all the pressure in the world on his shoulders. He like stepped up and like just made them and was. I mean, I couldn't have done that in a million years. Hell, LeBron James can't do that now in the NBA. There's not many NBA players that could take that pressure and then accomplish a victory out of being just so much stress. And if you miss these, it's done.
That's
it's
some zen right
you
there.
you win and survive. And so I mean, I give all the credit. I give all the credit to Virginia and Guy on that game. Like I said, it was some that double dribble. That should have been called, and that really could turn it around. But I mean, I give it to Guy. I mean, he stepped up. I mean, he made him in.
I think that was some serious capitalizing that they did at that point. Like they almost sort of needed that foul.
They did.
To take
they
that.
did. Like all Auburn had to do was not foul. But if he would have made the three he got fouled on, still not game over yet. But they could maybe have a little bit more time on the clock. But I mean, it was just you give your all, and then because I feel bad for the kid from Auburn who did that. I think it was number 10. Just feel bad for him to see. He still says it wasn't a foul, but man, Charles Barkley, the biggest, came from Auburn. He even said it, man. It was a foul. You have to let the shooter be able to land after he goes up for the jump shot.
Yeah, that was like a slap on the hand, no cookie for you moment.
Yeah, but speaking about how boring this game was to me, my biggest highlight of that game was browsing Facebook and seeing a post. I believe my friend Keeson posted it, and apparently Chick-fil-A is testing fried chicken. Now, what the fuck does this mean for the world of fried chicken? Because we all know Chick-fil-A is the gold standard of customer service and my pleasure, and we've all seen the funny videos on Instagram of them training their they're training their employees, running down, trying to find you and all this shit because you've got your sauce.
Yeah.
So what I mean, how's it going to be different from other fried chicken? Is it going to be like how the chicken sandwiches marinated in the pickle juice? Am I going to get a pickle for each piece of fried chicken that I order? So if I get a bucket with 12 pieces, do I get a side order of 12 pickle slices so I can put those also on it? So
well, I'm thinking, I mean, they wouldn't come out with that idea unless there wasn't some sort of demand for it, And I'm sure there's some people where they're just instead of getting a sandwich, they're just I just want to get the chicken. It's well, why don't I just get a bucket of chicken?
And it's funny too, because I'm surprised it took them this long to try to develop it, because I like KFC. I mean, I like KFC fried chicken.
Right.
It's great. I also really like Chick-fil-A with their sandwiches, but I've always thought Chick-fil-A's menu was kind of like limited.
Yeah, it was.
It's very I can't get fuck. Sometimes I want a fucking double Chick-fil-A sandwich. Can I get a chicken patty, some cheese, another chicken patty on that bitch? Because most of the time it's if I don't order the large waffle fries, I'm still hungry.
Yeah.
Afterwards.
Yeah.
And
that's the biggest thing. That's kind of why I don't want to eat at Chick-fil-A sometimes, because I eat it, it's oh god, this is crack cocaine in my mouth. This is delicious. I love it. And then by the end of it, I'm damn, I'm still hungry.
Still hungry. They're still hungry, and it's they just. I mean, portions are alright, but it's they have deluxes where you get lettuce and tomato. But I mean, how fucking filling is vegetables? We all know they're not.
Yeah.
We all know vegetables are not fucking filling. Alright, so, but now it's looking what are their sides going to be? Are they going to...
Yeah.
Because they do make they do make breakfast biscuits, so they can have planks as a side dish. Are they going to start doing
I think
green beans, collard greens, mashed potatoes, what else are they planning to bring in with this?
What they're probably going to do, I think, is they're going to go for that barbecue style format, when you get the pulled pork and then you get the buns and you get the condiments. Basically, it's kind of you buy This is a horrible reference, but like when you get like a Bojangles meal deal,
Yeah.
I think they're probably trying to go for that, but in like a sandwich format, or if you want like an optional sandwich format or something like that. So maybe it's gonna be just like,
Because as of right now, you'd get like a biscuit and a fruit cup, or a biscuit and waffle fries, or something like that. So
yeah, because I do think that they need to up their side game, because I mean, people are gonna go into that fucking Chick-fil-A and they're gonna be sitting there and you're gonna be like, I need to eat every fucking chicken in this room.
Yeah, so I mean, that's big news on the
actually, yeah, that's
fast food front. If this is true, hopefully it was a true pose, it wasn't fake. But I mean, it looked very real when I seen it on Facebook.
You know what we need to do? We need to contact HBO, and we need to make a Hound Chick-fil-A commercial for their new chicken deal.
Where the Hound, like from Game of Thrones, the Hound's just like, oh yes, yeah. I get it now. Yes,
yeah.
So all the Game of Thrones fans, you'll probably get the reference too. If you don't, watch the show. It's fucking fantastic.
Hey, it's
season 8 comes out this Sunday, which might be.
Wait, it's this Sunday?
Yes, this Sunday.
Oh.
Yeah. Which might be another type of show that we might be doing in the future. So hey, stay tuned. But going back in now. Switching into game 2 of that night, which was Texas Tech and Michigan State. I went into this game trying to do a whole different recording style, because we're trying to bring an influence of Hunter Thompson and gonzo journalism into most of our podcasts, maybe not all of them. So I went for a different approach of just doing long recordings, and also too, my roommates and I, we were going to go out that night too after when that game started. So it was game 1 by myself, doing very detailed recording, structured, all this. And then game 2 is basically like, fuck it, I'm just going to hit the record button and then see what kind of content, dialogue, everything that picks up. Right. Which almost is the better way to kind of do most of these recordings for notes, or less. In my way, I'm doing this now.
Right.
He didn't watch any of the games Saturday, so
no.
Game 1, that's why everything's very detailed on my end, so we could both listen back to the recordings, and there was a time frame, a structure, and all this. But the funniest thing about that game, which I mean was very exciting, is much more exciting, more fast-paced than the previous game, but the funniest part was the referee high-kneeing. A lot of people talked about it, yeah. Barstool, Bleacher Report also talked about this high-knee referee. In my opinion, it looked like he shit his pants, and he was trying to high knee to where the shit would not run down his legs and then fall into the court, and we have like shit slips where players are just slipping in shit, which would have made a fucking hell of a better game.
Yeah,
but
I think so.
Who doesn't like shit slipping? Actually, nobody does. So yeah,
I mean nobody.
Nobody really likes shit slipping.
It's that added little bonus. It actually brings some excitement to the game. Probably bring the people in there just like, hey, holy shit, there's sports going on.
Hey, it's like, if I can make a 3-pointer while I'm shit slipping, it counts as 5. But the night, finally, when everybody got ready to go, and the night of going out was just, I mean, marvelous, like I said, because since my second recording, both my roommates had came back, and Mama G y'all probably will eventually meet her. She'll be on one of these shows, but very energetic, bright, poppy, just fills the whole room with energy.
The podcast will literally have that much more light.
Yes, it will. Yeah, and she would like just be trying to dance while I was doing recordings. I don't know if it's trying to throw me off or just bring more life in the recordings. She's from Texas, so she was backing up, booty dancing to the TV to try to bring the energy to the team. And she's like, you bring the energy in, and you push it out. So I'm like, so Mama G, what are you trying to do? You're trying to fart on TV to try to, get Texas to get back in the game.
I think she's trying to pioneer a new style of cheerleading.
Something, yeah.
One thing's for sure. I mean, you see cheerleaders doing flips, you see them doing tumbles, all of that stuff. You never see them twerking. But when you see them twerking, all of a sudden people are just clapping their hands now, and they're like, "Holy shit, this is basketball! This is actually happening."
And then also key moment I've learned about while watching the game was me commentating on what was going on in the game for my voice recordings. It was like words not to say around a gay man and a very highly sexual middle-aged lady. Apparently deep 3. You do not want to say deep 3 because that stirred up all types of excitement on the other end. Because male roommate was talking, like, "Oh, what did you say?" I was like, "Oh, deep 3s. Like, how many 3s you taking in that deep?" And I'm like, "Oh Lord, no, not this." And so that led into the whole thing of Mama G making her comment as well that apparently she can't be deep throated. So once she comes on the shows later on, you go, well, I don't know if we're gonna have any deep throat contests, but who the fuck knows, really?
It's so funny because I think actually during one of the ironic parts of the experience was watching the game and hearing this conversation about deep 3. And then there's like a 3-pointer shot that just comes.
Yeah, and just goes in, and it's like boom, deep 3. It's like, oh
wow, irony.
Yeah. So that led on to this bunch of sexual talk while watching the game, and then so I had to put my kind of, I don't know if 2 cents, 3 cents, 4 cents, not deep 3 cents, but in an experience that I had previously because they went on their escapades talking and talked to my moment of why I have a phobia of cottage cheese. Me and cottage cheese don't get along. I don't like looking at it. I don't like smelling it. Definitely don't fucking eat it.
What's wrong with cottage cheese though? Like, what about it is so terrible?
Well, it's white, lumpy, and then when you're having sex with a girl and you pull out and you look you have cottage cheese all over your dick, it will traumatize you for the rest of your life to where you just won't eat cottage cheese or look at it. It grosses me the fuck out. I don't know. Apparently, I found out telling them that apparently she had a yeast infection while we're having sex. So that was, at least I found out where the hell the cottage cheese came from.
Now, well, at least that's kind of a little bit of a quelling thing to know, really.
Yeah.
I mean, all things considered, who knows? Maybe she just decided that cottage cheese was just the best thing to stick up there.
I don't know. I could spit, get some lube, whatever. Ladies, don't stick cottage cheese up there for lubrication, please. Just don't do it.
Yeah.
And
use whipped cream.
Yeah.
Be normie.
So then after everybody got settled, had a couple mixed drinks, had some vodka drinks. Finally, Uber arrives, which we got in, which we'll have clips of the rides. I'm not going to get in details of the ride, but the ride was hilarious. The clips will be in the post edit, but it's great. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'll let the audio speak for itself once we put it in. The bar was fun. Got to the bar. It was near South End of Charlotte, and a bunch of music, hot girls every fucking where, and so it was kind of a challenge to go into the bar and then kind of actually make commentary on what the game was going on. Although by the time I got there, you could already tell it was a Texas game. So it was kind of like, all right, cool. Let's order some rounds. To sit, chit chat, talk. But also the biggest thing was when I started kind of discovering I'm an introverted person. Which you may not be able to tell because I have been talking this whole time on the cast here, but this is a passion, so I have passion to talk about it, so it's when I talk. But going into unfamiliar territory and kind of being not really solo, but kind of doing my own thing, it was kind of battling of if this podcast kick up, Like, do I go into these events going like into a different persona? Do I just try to break out of the shell, or like I said, tried to have a whole different personality as I walk in, and how would that affect the content and recordings that do happen? So that was one challenge that I faced that night.
Well, you know what?
Kind of what to do on that.
I'm just interjecting here, and we want your opinion, Internet. Leave it in the comment section below.
Leave it in the comments.
Do we want the real Nathaniel Vealey, or do we want this persona bitch? Because I keep telling him, it's like, you gotta do this. Even Mama G. Even Mama G is coming in here.
Mama G still also agrees. But
this is a unanimous thing, but he's just like, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, like I said, hopefully doing more of these can kind of break out the whole shell thing. But Mama G did have somewhat a successful night. She got 3 numbers, three different guys. Apparently all 3 sucked though. Next day it all like struck out, bombed out. But she had a flipping blast. Because the other roommates had left earlier to make sure his nephew got home fine, because he was shit faced. It was pretty bad, and so we finally got an Uber right there while closing. The bar was closing, and got her in, and she slept the whole way from South End Charlotte to our house here, like 2 miles from Uptown, and luckily, the male roommate was walking out to be like, hey, I need your help assisting Mama G to get in the house, because she needs to crash bad. And so then the male roommate and I talked for a pretty good while, and apparently throughout the night I had messaged my special friend on Kit, and I totally forgot I actually talked to her, and
that's how you do it.
Yeah, how you do it. Yeah. So James and I were talking. Don't quit saying mailroom. I was going to say James, but so we were talking outside. Next thing I know, she just comes up and grabs me behind and starts hugging me because we have the fucking front door unlocked. I gotta stop doing that shit too. And so she just comes right in, and so things lead to another. We start fooling around. Apparently, James just likes walking indoors, apparently, so she was going down on me in my room, and then he was just like, oh, I'm looking for my keys. Have you guys seen my keys? And it's like, I just know I have not seen your keys at all. Nope. And so she came over. We had fun, as I think we had fun, because like I said, I really don't recall a lot of that night. Thank God for the recordings. But the funniest thing about that was Sunday morning, being woke up by Mama G coming in like, hello, sunshine, how's your morning going? And I was like, Mama G, just letting you know, you're laying beside me in the bed right now. Just letting you know.
You just made her sound like a character from The Little House on the Prairie.
Well, she almost kind of is. And was basically like, oh yes, wake up. And I was like, Mama G, just letting you know that I am completely naked underneath this blanket, and apparently I still have a condom around my penis. And funny part was, she had to check herself. She was like, I only woke up with one button undone. I'm like, no, Mama G, we didn't have sex. My special friend came over and we had sex. So the end of my night was fantastic. So I had a blast. I mean, it was entertaining all around, except for, trying to figure out what the fuck to do with the antisocial thing. But, overall, Saturday was a very entertaining, it was an entertaining night. I mean, one game was kind of dull and drug out, but got excited at the end. The other game was fun, entertaining while the game was going on, and then towards the end, you could tell it was just Texas ball. But, that's why you go out, that's why you have fun, because sit at the house all the time, shit sucks.
That game was actually a surprise. That game really was a surprise. I have to say, I do not really look at basketball all that much, and I did not expect much. Everyone was going in and saying, this is going to be the most boring game ever. This is the game that nobody wanted.
So let's talk about. I guess let you have some time to talk. What about your Saturday night? You went out to a concert, didn't you?
Yeah. So I was I went over. I saw a band. They're called Polyphia, and it's like basically like a progressive rock, kind of like new wave Soundgarden and that kind of sound, and with some metal influence and stuff like that. And it was really really interesting because I got to say that was the first time I really saw, for the first time locally, people getting down to like crazy technical, insane like.
Now, when you say like
progressive metal,
technical progressive metal, so are you just saying technical as in like they can play their instruments very well, or is it a technical stance of they're using like techno music infused in that?
The former, really. Like they're really really good with their instruments. Like you're seeing one guy and he's basically like just soloing. Like the whole song is just basically like him soloing and going crazy, and I'm just like, dude, what the hell are you doing with your fingers right now? I need another beer. And, I'm over there and I'm with my friend Matt and we're just having a good time. And after a while, it was really an experience. So the best part about that whole night was sitting there watching people almost being introverted in a whole group together.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I could see, yeah.
Yeah, like it actually really woken me to the concept of sober intoxication.
Okay.
Where it's like you have people, like no one can do drugs there. You clearly cannot go in like they'd see
unless you do them before.
Unless you do it before. But it was kind of just like eventually, when everyone's boozed up and they're getting into their zone, you'll like see a guy and he's like headbanging in the corner with his friends, or you just have one guy at the end of the bar and he's just like zoning out, people closing their eyes. It's a whole other experience when you talk about getting a group of people together and literally having an individual experience in a collective environment.
Okay.
That was probably the best part.
Nice.
I have to say.
Cool. Cool deal. So let's talk about last night. All right. So last night was the championship game. It boiled down to Texas Tech versus Virginia. The number 1 seed. I believe Texas Tech was the number 3 seed. I can't recall. But Virginia had been on a roll all year. They kind of got some luck during the tournament with some of the games. The Purdue games really close, but hey, they made it to the final. Although the double dribble call, the foul call, they were there. My biggest thing I got from listening to like ESPN and Fox Sports 1 yesterday before the game was literally everyone wanted to hate this game. Everybody thought that this game was going to be complete, dull, defensive game where it would pull low ratings just because there wasn't, a Duke, a Carolina, a Kansas, a Kentucky, a blue blood in there, a big name coach. And so everybody was really putting this game down, which, I could see their point on it because, yes, people follow ratings, but, right. Maybe the casual fan may not watch it if there's not a big name in there. But sports fans, we're still going to watch either way. We don't. It's on TV. It's sports. We're watching. It really doesn't matter. For my take on that, if we're fucking watching it, doesn't matter if we're having a party over or we're really serious about it. We're watching the game.
But the thing is about that game was like it was quite literally it was a slow burn. It wasn't even a slow burn. It was like a long fuse to a very, very technical defensive game where you just have clean passes going through. You had a couple of misses here and there, but anything too, serious, And it only started getting really, really intense when the point differentials were coming by later in the first frame.
And it just started to turn around because by the end of it, it literally was like, wow, what a game. Like, this game went to overtime. It was just, just standing up when stuff was happening, trying to, record notes, all this other stuff, but at the same time, I'm trying to damn smell a beer, too, and get it on the floor, but, it was just, I thought it was a great game. That's why I just didn't, now reflecting on it, I don't understand where all the kind of hate came from, because it boiled down to just a fantastic game with a lot of intrigue and all this.
I think that was a game that you needed to literally sit there and be like a little bit fucked up.
Yeah, to make it enjoyable. A little bit,
to really see all those technical elements and where it started to fall apart and where it started to come back. I mean, they came back after, what, a 10-point differential? Texas Tech, they came back and this was like later on in the first frame.
And then they try to push it, and then, like I said, then Virginia comes back and wins it. And
literally, they're just straight winging it. Like they were reading through their defense. They were like, "We know what you're going to try to do here." And then after a while, they're like, "Well, you know what? Just screw it. Yeah, we're going Tex-Mex up in here, motherfucker." And, and then boom, and there it is. Yeah,
it's very true. So we'll go to here before we both get into our final thoughts about the weekend. All this. Stefan actually was, as I was kind of commentating on the game, he was putting his own flair of what was going on in writing. So I'll let him have a moment here to kind of pinpoint, highlight some things he wrote, which will be, if you get up to the link, we'll have his writings also there, to where if you're a fan of Gonzo, if you're a fan of Hunter, you'll really appreciate these writings, because I did. I remember points in the game, he was like, "Hey, read this," and I'm like, not in tears, but just in amazement of how perfectly he grasped the whole Gonzo thing and got it into his writing. So whenever you want to read some passages off, go right for it.
One thing I'm gonna say, like this right here is just raw experiencing the game. This is literally why I was telling you, the only way you could possibly enjoy this game is, I guess, obviously being a little bit fucked up. You need that. Yeah. And you also need to really, really highlight the technical elements, because you're starting to see a methodical system of how these two teams are communicating with each other, and the key people are in between. So, like I said, the groups explore each other in the fray. Pass after pass, and the experience is still dry. It's like sandpaper on a wet match. And movement is strong on Virginia, as the shoot's coming fast, and, Virginia Tech coming in like the Tech Massacre, and then Texas Tech coming in with the core meltdown over there, trying to break the other team down, coming in basically like Team Blue. And first in 8 minutes, Texas has the fouls and Virginia capitalizes. Pretty much a good consistent play throughout the whole game. You have, Virginia drops the ball in the hoop. There was a questionable foul. This was around like the 5-minute mark. But it really starts getting crazy when this 10-point differential comes into play. Now, thing about it is that, Virginia does shot collars and astronaut shoes, man. I'm talking like these people are going insane. They're all like, it's a 10-point game. And at this point, like I said before, Virginia, they just go on and they are just doing clean passes and doing straight hoops. It's unreal. The ethos is a field where the scales are weighing down. We need ground. And these guys found the ground. They were doing clean dribbles and clean passes. It was just such an amazingly weird technical game, because you don't see defense like that, because it was almost defense used in an offensive way.
It was
around the beginning of the second frame.
And it was on both sides. I mean, that was both teams prided themselves on defense. And
one thing I gotta say is that was probably the most aggressive defense you could say you would see in the year right now
on both sides. Yeah, because that was what they lived on. That's how it got them there.
That's how they both got there, really. But yeah, absolutely. But probably the best part about the whole game was it was going into overtime. This was around near the end of the second frame, and it was tied up. It was even. And then Virginia, like I said, they were just going in, They kept it clean, and then they managed to get, what was it, like a 5-point advantage?
Anyway.
Yeah, it was like a 5-point advantage near the end, and then it was just
like... It's the golf, and then there was the game. Because once, like, overtime kicked in, within, like, 2 or 3 minutes in overtime, you could tell it was...
Yeah.
It was... Virginia was having a way.
You could even see it, though, like, halfway through the first frame, though. It was... Virginia was just... They just had a play that the other team could not knock out.
And it's called halves. Hockey fan. No, you can keep going, but yeah, just letting you know, it's halves, not frames. But yeah, but anyway, but as you can tell, who's the one that does more sports watching and who doesn't? But
hey, friends, stay tuned though, because we're gonna have an upcoming fight over here. It's in May. Deontay Wilder versus Dominic Breazeale. This is gonna be a good one. Actually, it's kind of gonna be a little bit similar to this game though, because it's the fight that nobody wanted, but it's a fight that is actually going to be kind of a little bit of a test of the name of the United States heavyweight champion.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Nice little teaser for future episodes. So I guess, I'll just end it with this kind of like, now, no more college basketball. It's done. It's over. Virginia's national champions. My whole final thought with the NCAA, big things coming out now with Zion and Duke. Did Nike pay his mom? Did he not? At this point now, fucking they all get paid. Who really fucking cares? College athletes should get some compensation. Not all college athletes should be paid the same. Because I agree with Stephen A. Smith. He makes this point a lot of times. Like, he enjoys being in a capitalist environment. And tier 1 athlete should not make the same money or compensation that a swimmer would make, because swimming doesn't bring in big bucks like college football and college basketball does. Because I guarantee you the NCAA made fucking millions and millions of millions of millions of dollars over this month.
Well, one thing I can say is maybe they do this because they want to spur people to get that competitive, I guess you could say competitive fire in them, so where they keep it going. Because when it comes down to it, team-based sports is the biggest thing right now in sports in general. It doesn't matter. I mean, if you follow basketball, football, soccer, I guess they probably just want as many people involved so they can really let the real stars shine. But the model itself, I agree with you, is wrong.
It's wrong, because that's why there's no longer NCAA college football or basketball games, because there was a big lawsuit, and which should have been, because you're putting these players' likeness out here on the video game that sells for $50 or $60 a pop, but yes, they get free education, they get free room and board, but legally, they don't get anything else.
Yeah.
I'm not saying there's not no backdoor deals or $100 handshakes. But legally, they get, it's supposed to be amateurism, which is a farce, because, like I say, if you look at the money that college football and basketball is bringing in, I mean, it's just a farce. Which is why the NBA is wanting to once again change their one and done rule. With me, I mean, I kind of agree with it. I mean, if the player is good enough to come out of high school to go straight into the pros, they should, if that's the way they want to go. But also, we've already seen this before. We've already had high school players coming straight out of college, or straight out of high school and into college. We've seen it before, and it produced a lot of buzz. It hasn't produced that many really good players. I mean, the exception was Kevin Garnett, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James. Those are the 3 big ones that fucking did phenomenal. A lot of other players that came straight out of high school, it took them 3-4 years to develop in the league, which would have been college. But if they have family support, if they come from a poverty area, you gotta do what's right for your family. So that's why they went, got contracts, was able to maybe help the family out. But at the same time, it's, if you don't get that second contract because you're not good enough, you just squandered all your money away and you didn't go to school. You didn't get, you kind of didn't get a degree, so it's a back and forth of, me as a college basketball fan, the heyday of college basketball was the 80s and the early and mid 90s, where
80s.
Yeah, like
Wow.
80s like was with Michael Jordan, Patrick Ewing, where these players stayed for 3 to 4 years. They developed in a team, and these teams were like juggernauts, and people knew who people were, and same way with like the 90s, still people stayed.
But wait though, what about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar?
That was in the 70s. I believe he was a senior. I think he stuck all 4 years, and he was a senior of UCLA.
That guy was
Was
a trip.
Yeah, he was good. And my last point of this whole season is like, what's kind of up with these short shorts, little fashion trends going on?
Seriously.
I mean, I remember watching, 80s college basketball where it was like, who wears short shorts? It was like a Nair commercial. And, and then it went from like early 90s, they still had it. And then when the Fab Five came out, it was black socks and knee-length shorts.
Well, it's basically like a throwback. It's like a new format for the sort of like 70s, 80s style dressing style that people are reimagining with, I guess you could say, a more accepting environment for something like that. Maybe even for its time. People were just like, it's controversial, but no. Now people are like, oh, well, maybe we can try this. Maybe we can try this again.
And it's also, too, it's building your brand, because people will be like, hey, who's number 23, Texas Tech, I forgot his name, or whatever, wearing his thigh highs? Or the other players. So it's almost like it's a brand building, get your recognition.
Yeah.
I like to see if this carries on into the NBA, which I haven't so far.
I doubt it.
I don't watch regular season NBA that much, so I have not seen any thigh high shorts yet. But I do know they did a couple years ago had an 80s night or something where they all wore retro outfits. And I think at least most of the players for like the first 5 minutes, or at least the first TV timeout, had the 80s short shorts.
Yeah.
And then I believe after like the timeout, they're like, fuck this shit. Nope. But I'm not looking like this. So
I don't blame them.
So
I don't blame them. I don't want to wear it longer.
So yes. So it's been fun. Like I said, hopefully, like I said, this is the first, and hopefully the first of many. And like I said, we'll keep everybody posted and updated. Once we get this thing edited, we will publish it out. Send the link. Like I said, please like and share, write comments, tell us what you want us to improve on, what you didn't like about it, what you did like about it. I help topics, ideas for future episodes. We're wanting all types of feedback. So like I said, just stay tuned and we'll keep you informed about future episodes. So I hope you guys have a good rest of the week. That went surprisingly well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How you doing, Mr. James?
Good, how are you, sir?
I'm good.
Just got my phone on it.
Yeah, she has your phone. Yeah, I got your cigarettes.
How are you, sir?
I'm alright. How about yourself?
I'm tired.
Hey, how you doing, ma'am?
Good.
And Tiber Creek?
Yes, sir. I haven't been in years.
Should be interesting now.
God, it's so good. A bit of sodium in the soup.
So, huh?
A bit of sodium in the soup.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, because I know how much I get the beef
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Your phone?
no.
And two, with the garlic, I should have got garlic powder instead of garlic salt. Or got both. Put a little garlic salt, then throw in more garlic. Put the powder in.
From yesterday. My hair.
Can we
was
listen to
purple
106.5?
yesterday. What?
Can we listen to 106.5, please?
Continue on Statesville Avenue.
Why 106.5? Because I like
No,
that
he's
station.
talking
Was it like
about
a
hair.
celebration or something? Or you just always had it purple?
No. I had a bad hair time.
Oh! I thought you had did this on purpose.
No, I didn't. And you know what? I moved a 450-pound fire pit with James and hurt my back too.
You need to take it
150
easy.
pounds.
I had a hurt back and purple hair. 3 days ago, I was looking pretty rough. On the couch with purple hair.
I'm more worried about your back than your hair now.
Well, I went to a chiropractor.
How about your
and he
neck?
worked it out. Like that bitch was in sports medicine.
Next is your neck. Your back.
I
How's your
got
crack?
more tape on me than all the players in the NBC.
My neck.
Or the
My
NBA,
back. Lick my
whatever they
and
call
my
those
back.
players.
Even though it's the easy place, it was a real song.
Oh, you okay tonight?
I'm doing good. I had 2 Trulies. What about you? Are you doing good?
Yes, ma'am. I'm fine. I went to see my chiropractor Monday, so it's like, oh man, I look forward to it.
Who's your chiropractor?
Man, it's a guy. His name Dr. Cameron. I don't know his last name, but he's off of. I forgot. It's called Charlotte Health Center or something.
Let me tell you, if you got a fucked up mouth, Dr. Tony.
He should put that on his car. Yeah. Do you have a fucked up back? Fucked up back? Please go.
Dr. Tony got in there. I had my face down. I was screaming. Finally, after like 40 minutes, I said, "You've got to stop." He calls it tough love. He gets in there and he goes, "What happened is you pulled and
I know. It's yeah.
you pulled and broke, and your brain won't let it release until I get in there and almost re-injure it.
All right.
To the point it
So this
re-releases
segment's going to be
just spasm.
take everything out of context.
Oh
Grace
my
says.
So he was in there.
Is this like similar to like seeing a chiropractor and like a masseuse at the same time for you?
He was like seeing God. Because
He released the toxins some
I
years
couldn't
ago.
even- I
She
couldn't-
started having flashbacks.
I couldn't even like squat without grunting.
Oh wow.
Like,
Yeah, this is
Here's
going to be a
laundry.
segment of the show. We're right, taking everything out of context, Grace says.
but after I see him, I'm like, laundry, I can do laundry. And trust, with these 2 boys, fuck, they have a outfit change every 3
I'm
minutes.
not that bad.
I'm going to bed. I'm getting dressed. I'm getting up. I'm getting dressed for coffee.
These girls are having a
Yeah,
drip.
no,
I'm
yeah.
going to work
checking
and
him
getting
out.
dressed and coming home. I'm getting dressed for yard work.
Oh man.
And then, after yard work, I'm going to get dressed to relax. And then, my ass is going to get dressed to go out and maybe get dressed for bed again. Hope you like that.
Man, that's a lot of outfits.
He had a very special mom. You don't find that shit anymore. We will dump that hamper on your ass like nobody's business.
We got
Bitch, why'd you make so many clothes?
Because it's because I have to have work clothes.
Cold water. Here's soap.
Yeah, let me show you how to do this.
Don't eat that pod. Put it in the washer and wash your own damn clothes.
Me? I wash the clothes off.
What is 6.5, por favor?
We are just having fun. Look at this motherfucker! Hey, I'm new.